A 28-year-old mother is found lifeless in a bathtub, and her two toddlers vanish into thin air alongside their heavily tattooed, gang-affiliated father, who is now an international fugitive. This is the dark and unresolved reality of what happened to Angelica Bravo and her two young children, Athena and Mateo. Angelica was doing everything she could to build a beautiful life for her kids. She was a talented hairdresser and an educator at a cosmetology institute who loved giving back to her students. She celebrated her heritage, taking her kids to local Buddhist festivals where they would all wear traditional yukatas. Athena, who was 4, was the spitting image of her mom. Mateo, who was just 2, was already a little athlete who could dribble a basketball. They loved dinosaurs, arts and crafts, and just being kids. But their father was a completely different story. Camron Lee, who often went by the street name Major, is the definition of a walking red flag.
He is 38 years old, but operates under multiple aliases like Saraunchi and Taewon Lee. Camron was heavily involved in the criminal underworld. He had been busted multiple times by the gang enforcement team. Police would pull him over and find loaded Glocks, thousands of dollars in cash, digital scales, burner phones, and drugs. His physical appearance matches his terrifying lifestyle. Camron is covered in deeply unsettling tattoos that paint a picture of a man obsessed with death. He has a crucifix necklace tattooed on him that is made entirely out of skulls. He has a Grim Reaper surrounded by bullets. There is a stabbed heart on his chest, a skull with an hourglass in its mouth on his arm, and a half-skeletal Buddha face surrounded by dead roots. He literally has the words "No days off" permanently inked across his collarbone. He is a dangerous, violent man, and Angelica knew she had to escape him. Their relationship was incredibly abusive. Angelica finally moved out into her own apartment to get her kids away from him and start fresh. But she felt guilty about tearing the family apart, so she would still drop the kids off at his house so they could see their dad. That manipulation kept her tied to him. Just days before she died, Angelica was terrified and withdrawn. She confessed to her sister that Camron had beaten her, stolen her keys and phone, and physically trapped her inside his home. Then came July 8th. Family members could not reach either of them, so a relative called for a welfare check at Camron's house. When first responders arrived, they walked into a nightmare. Angelica was found completely unresponsive in the bathtub. She was covered in scrapes and bruises, with blood on her tongue. The scene screamed foul play. But the most chilling discovery was what the police did not find. Athena and Mateo were nowhere in the house. Law enforcement immediately started hunting for Camron, but this guy knew exactly how to evade the law. 2 days after Angelica was found dead, cameras captured Camron's gray Honda Pilot crossing the border into Mexico. A week later, that same car was found completely abandoned in Ensenada. There was no sign of Camron and absolutely no trace of the toddlers. Before the murder, Camron had been bragging to people about his plans to move to Guadalajara. But investigators are terrified of another possibility. Because he crossed the border so quickly, police issued an endangered missing advisory across Southern California. They believe there is a very real chance Camron did not take the kids into Mexico at all. He might have handed them off to associates or abandoned them somewhere along the highway before fleeing the country. Today, there is a federal warrant out for Camron Lee for murder, kidnapping, and unlawful flight. The autopsy confirmed Angelica suffered blunt force trauma and possible smothering, officially turning this into a homicide investigation. There is a massive $50,000 reward for information leading to Camron's capture and the safe return of the children. Athena would be 5 years old now, and Mateo would be 4. They are out there somewhere, either dragged into the shadows by a violent fugitive or hidden away by his criminal network. Camron Lee orchestrated a brutal tragedy, leaving a family completely shattered. Until this man and his skull tattoos are spotted, and he is dragged back in handcuffs. A killer is walking free, and 2 innocent children remain lost in the dark.
Hit the like button if you enjoy the story. Please subscribe and drop a comment. I am your host, Emma, and stay a little spooked.